What up? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is something slightly different and it is going to be on this look here but using the majority of cream products. I think pretty much the only product that wasn't cream was my eyeshadow. So everything else has been cream based pretty much, and that is something that's very different for me. And I also wanted to show you how I've been doing it lately, which has been using the creams and keeping it really nice and subtle and easy and quick and using my version of bare minimum products. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So if you want to see how I did this look using pretty much all cream products, then keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to start with primer and I'm going to grab the Benefit Cosmetics new Professional Hydrating Primer. And as always, I always grab a travel size of this just to see how I like it before I buy a big one. So yeah, so I'm going to take a small amount of that on the back of my hand. It's got the same texture and color and everything as the normal Professional. So I'm just going to pop a bit in my T-zone. And over the top, I'm going to pop on the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. This one is in the shade 230. And I'm going to pop that on with my Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush. So I don't ever bring it all the way up under my eye, just because foundation tends to be a little bit too heavy and a little bit too thick, especially when I wear more full coverage, and I will just leave the under eye for concealer, which is designed better for the under eye area. You'll find your crease less like that as well. And for concealer, I'm going to grab my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard, and I'm going to pop that on under my eyes. Then on the bridge, forehead, Cupid's bow, and a touch on the chin. And I'm just going to use my Hourglass Vanish foundation brush to blend this in. And now this is the point that I would usually set it in place with a powder, but because we're using creams today, I am going to leave the setting for a little bit later. I'm going to start with creams. So I am going to grab the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in the shade Macchiato. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that same Hourglass brush that I used for the concealer. What I've done is I've just wiped a little bit of that excess concealer off, and I'm going to use that to apply the cream. This fits perfectly well in my cheekbones and around my forehead, so it just makes the blending so much easier rather than me getting a concealer brush, drawing a bunch of lines, and then blending it out. If you find your face is a little bit small, you may need to use something a little bit smaller than this brush, but this is one of my favorites. Please excuse that. This is one of my favorite brushes to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my brush and gently press it onto the cream. I'm not going to try and dig anything out. You want to be super gentle with this. And I'm going to start up here on my forehead. I'm just going to pat it in where I would usually bronze or contour along my hairline. Look a bit intense at first, but you want to get the majority of the product on the very edge, and then once there's not too much left, you can blend it in a bit further. And I'm going to bring it down under my cheekbone. Here I sometimes use it on a slight angle. That way I can get a little bit more of a sharpness, but nothing too much. And then we're going to go down under the jaw. And you can build it up as much as you'd like. Because I'm keeping this relatively natural, I'm not going to be too intense with it. And then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Just really patting it along the hairline. And then when there's nothing left on the brush, using the brush to blend it in. I apologize if my lighting's going all weird. It's just the settings are playing up and they're just a hot mess, but I apologize if that's what's happening. Okay, next I'm going to use a cream blush, and I'm going to grab the Fenty Beauty cream blush in the shade Petal, I think it's Petal Poppin'. I just dropped it, so good thing it's cream. So I'm just going to use my middle finger, very teeny tiny amount on my finger, and I'm going to dab that into the skin. You want to start soft, especially with a cream blush, because they can come out very intense, and then you slowly build up. And you can always use one of your naked fingers that hasn't had any product on, and just use that to blend it. Don't mind my really red ears. I have no idea why. They just go red very randomly, and they go very hot as well. Apparently it means someone's talking about you. I don't know. Hopefully it's nice things. And once it's pretty much all blended in and there's not much left on your finger, just pop a really subtle amount on my nose. And that way it just looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more uniform. And for cream highlighter, I'm going to grab the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Glow in the shade Perla. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pop that on with my fingers. So I'm going to pop a small amount of that, very small because this stuff is potent, on the back of my hand. And I am going to pat this in. So I'm grabbing a very, very small amount on my finger. And just going to pat it in and make sure it's nice and blended. Once again, we want to build this up slowly. Don't want to go super, super crazy. Cream highlighters are just going to give you that way more natural glow, like it is your skin that's naturally glowy. Just on my cheekbones, and I'm going to pop a subtle bit on the bridge of my nose, a little bit on the tip as well, on the cupid's bow. Very, very subtle, which I love. And on the forehead and what's left on the chin. So you can see it's super glowy and it's just so radiant on the skin. It looks so beautiful. Very, very much saying so a lot, but it's the easiest way to emphasize what I'm trying to say. Okay, now the only areas I'm going to set with powder is going to be sort of under my eyes and the top of my eyes. The concealer is already creasing, if you can see, so I definitely need to set that in place. And then I'm just going to put whatever's left through my T-zone very, very subtly. I don't want a lot of powder. I want to keep this natural glow, but at the same time, I don't want it moving throughout the day. And the powder that I'm going to use is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade number 2 medium. And this one I'm going to pop on with my Morphe E8 brush. So I'm just going to pop a bit under my eyes and on the lid as well to set the concealer in place. And as the concealer has creased a bit, this brush is really good just to buff it in at the same time. So you can be a little bit, still be gentle, but you can buff it in very subtly as well. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to bring it down to where I tend to get the most shiny. So right here on the either side of my nose. Very subtle amount on my nose and my lip. Very subtle amount on my forehead as well. That way I still keep the natural glow that was coming from all the creams, but it is going to stay in place and I'm not going to get too shiny later because I am still quite oily, but I have been loving these creams. It's been really, really nice. Alright, and now I am going to do my brows, and what I've been loving lately is the soap brows. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do the soap brow or the brow lamination, whatever you want to call it. I am going to show you how I do it. So all I get is the, please don't mind, mine's a little bit gross, but the Pears bar of soap. That's it. This is the best one. I've tried every bar of soap that you can get at Coles and Woolworths. Like, I've tried them all. This one is amazing. I have tried a couple of other soap brow products from certain brands and they're pretty good. They're not bad, but I feel like this is just like ride or die. Like, I haven't found anything better than this, so it is so good. I keep it in a little container like this, And then what I do is I get the lid with a little bit, probably can't see, but I put like a very small amount of water in there. You only need a few drops. So I've just popped that in there, and I just get a disposable mascara wand, and I usually like to bend it sideways. You don't have to. So I grab this and I dip it in the water, and my eyebrows are quite dark, so I actually haven't filled them in, but I wanted to keep this look nice and natural. I can fill them in and get a more intense brow, but right now, all I want is just to have them nice and fluffy. So I've wet my mascara wand, and I'm just going to go into the brush and into the soap, and just give it a bit of a scrub, I guess. I just want to get a bit of that soap on there. This is the way I do it. Other people may do it differently, but I just kind of go to town. I find it's better than digging in because you end up with clumps, and I just want a little bit all over I just want to coat the mascara one pretty much. And then I like to back comb first. That way the product gets under the brow hairs and it'll help keep it stuck up, and it'll also help give a bit of volume as well. So I always start from the tail and comb backwards and also down, which can look a bit crazy at first. You look very intense, but that's just going to get the product underneath. And these are my more stubborn hairs in the front here, so I want to really get in there. And you kind of want to go in the exact opposite direction that your brows are in, so it's very, very scary. And then I press down and comb up. So be a bit forceful with this, and it can look very intense at first, but you just want to manipulate it to get the right shape. So I'm going up and out because I don't want to go straight up. I've got very long brow hairs, so if it went straight up, it's very intense. Through the very front of the brow, I will go up just because that's the way my hairs naturally grow. And as I get towards the tail, I'll bring it out more sideways. If you feel it looks a bit too intense, I just get the tip of the mascara wand and tuck them in ever so slightly. And this is going to keep them, I guess, stuck down a little bit. If I just brush them up, or I brush them up with a brow gel, they don't tend to stay in place. They'll back down. So this way they kind of stick to the skin slightly, which is what you want to keep it looking super full and fluffy. Alright, so that is one brow done. So we're going to do the other one now. So just repeating the exact same steps. And that is how I do soap brows without any product other than the soap. Alright, now we're going to do a subtle bit of eyeshadow. I want to keep it super, super natural. So this is my quick and easy eyeshadow look. So I'm going to grab the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy palette, and I am going to focus on these few little nude shades down here and this one here. So we're going to start with the shade OG in the middle, and I'm going to grab my Morphe M441 brush, and I'm going to pop this OG shade through the crease. And I'm getting all the way into the inner corner as well and blending it up and out ever so slightly. I'm not going to wing it out as much as I usually do. I usually bring it very far out. I don't want it to be a very intense eye look. Just want that super, super blended. And same with the other side. And I'm going to grab a slightly smaller brush, which is my Zoeva 221 brush. And I'm going to pick up that New Yorker shade, this one right here. And I'm going to mix it slightly with the teeniest, tiniest amount of this 1988 shade. And I'm just going to darken up the crease. Sometimes I'll do this look and I'll bring this color all the way onto the lid, but I want to keep it natural, and I like having that little bit right there bare because it just keeps the eyes really nice and open. And then I'm going to grab those same exact colors and I'm just going to blend them underneath the eye with my Fenty Beauty 230 blending brush. which is just a flat blending brush. So I'm not going too heavy under here, but I am bringing it pretty low. So I want it super, super blended. You guys know me, I love a really, really blended, soft look. And now I'm just going to tightline with my Smashbox Always On Gel Pencil Eyeliner in the shade Fishnet, which is just black. And I'm only going to do this on the top. And now I'm going to put a coat of mascara on. I'm going to use the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Bang Volumizing Mascara. I'm just going to pop a coat of that on my top and bottom lashes. I swear this mascara is amazing. It is very, very similar to the Better Than Sex mascara, but I'd say it has a tendency not to clump as much, if at all, which is so good. I love the Better Than Sex, but it has a tendency to clump. This one it has a very similar shape, very similar wand if you can sort of see. It's got that sort of curve, very hard to tell because it's very subtle, but I find it is probably better. Yeah, look, I'm gonna say it's better. I love the Better Than Sex, but yeah, the clumping factor is probably the only downfall with that one, and this doesn't really clump. So sometimes it can if you have a little bit too much product on there. And for lashes, I'm going to grab the Eylure lashes, these beautiful ones right here, the number 175. These are so fluffy and very natural, which is going to go great for this look. And I'm going to pop them on with the Eylure lash glue that comes with it. And I love that it gives you the left and right on there, which sometimes is very hard to see, especially if they're not very tapered. If they're a tapered lash, you can sort of tell. But sometimes not all lashes are tapered, so you have to kind of guess. I've definitely put lashes on backwards before. It's happened too many times. So I'm just going to pull the lash out. This one is the right one. Got my tweezers, popping it on there, and I'm just going to quickly pop the glue on and let it get tacky. Pop them in the middle. I have measured these already, so they are the perfect length for my eyes. Giving them a bit of a lift and a little bit of a clamp as well. Now I'm going to do the same with the other eye. Pop the glue on and let it get tacky, and pop this one on. That's both of those lashes on, and as you can see, they're super natural and so pretty. They are like my everyday lash, so I'm bougie and I'll wear lashes every day. These are the ones that I will wear, so super easy to pop on. They're not too intense. They are super light, super comfortable, and really, really, really easy to apply. And they've got a pretty much invisible band, so they are gonna look very natural. I have worn these before and people thought I had lash extensions, but they're just these ones and they're so easy, so much more affordable than lash extensions, and they're just so easy, and I can just whack them on real quick and take them off at the end of the day, and then I can actually get in there and wipe my eyes. So very, very, very amazing lashes. These are some of my favorites, and if you want to see a more in-depth way that I apply them, I will link the lash tutorial here for you. All right, last but not least, we're just gonna pop some lipstick on. So I'm gonna zoom you guys back out. I'm gonna grab the Nude Sticks Intense Matte Pencil. I think I said that in the right order. Intense Matte Lip and Cheek Pencil in the shade Belle. So you get a big pencil in this kit, and this can be used on your cheeks as well, and also on your lips. So I could have used this for the cream. Really, really easy to apply. I usually just do a couple little dots and dashes and little spots, and then I'll blend it in with my finger, just patting it through. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to use it on my lips for today. It's a really, really pretty color. So I'm just going to pop this on, starting on the outside, outlining the lip. Bringing it in slightly and doing the same on the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my finger and just blend it in. That way it's a little bit more of a subtle colour than a super heavy intense lipstick, if that makes sense. And lastly, I'm just going to go over with my MAC Fix Plus and just give a really nice refresh and a nice glow to the skin, but also set it in place so it lasts all day. If I could have any makeup product, it'd be this. Alright, that is the end of the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you like something slightly different. This is not my usual techniques for how I do things. I very rarely use cream products, and I very rarely use very natural sort of look. So this is kind of an everyday look, kind of updated, I guess. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope you guys got some tips and tricks on how to do your makeup at home. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget on your way out to subscribe to my channel. There's a little box down below, and give this video a thumbs up as well. Even pop some comments on what videos you want to see next.